We're going to review a few ways of breathing, starting in supine and then progressing up to a seated position. So you can begin by making your way onto your back. And we're going to start by focusing on the breath. So you can place one hand on your chest, one hand on your belly, and from here take a few deep breaths. Things we're focusing on here include breathing into the diaphragm and making sure to expand out to the side with the ribs. Another common mistake, especially if you have a rib flare like I do, is breathing into extension instead of expanding through the back ribs and breathing into the table a little bit more. So make sure your breath is expanding 360 degrees all the way around your thoracic cavity. So you can practice that by putting your hands on your rib cage and taking some deep breaths here. Again, just trying to expand in every single direction that you can. Once we've mastered breathing, we'll go ahead and move on to a brace. So for this brace, we're going to make sure if you have a rib flare, the ribs come down. You can use your exhale to assist. From here, belly button goes to spine, and it's just a light contraction without sucking in. So you come here with the ribs, here with the belly. From here, maintain this contraction and breathe into your hands. Again, 360 degrees with this breath. So I'm able to maintain pressure, I'm able to talk through this, and I'm able to maintain this engagement. So this is super important to be able to do this, especially when lifting, whether it's weights or just objects around the house. So now that we've mastered these two pieces, the breathing on your back and the core contraction, we'll make our way to a seated position. So in our seated position, we'll sit up nice and tall, and we'll think about the same things. This might be a little more challenging since we're against gravity now. So we'll start with the breath, making sure to expand 360 degrees. A lot of times we have the tendency to fill up in our chest, so just make sure that you're keeping the breath around the diaphragm and expanding through the rib cage. Once you feel confident with that and you're noticing you're not breathing through the chest and you're able to expand the ribs side to side and front and back, then we can move on to a core brace here as well. So for this, you want to make sure that your starting posture is nice and aligned. So if you need to take your hands and pull the flesh from under your sits bones, you can, to kind of help get that pelvis in a nice and neutral position. And then kind of pretend like someone's pulling a string from the top of your head to get nice and tall here. From here, we'll focus on the same thing, first using the exhale to get the ribs down, and then belly button to spine. And from here, being able to breathe with the brace. It's important to note with this brace here, we're not walking around 24/7 with this. This is something we're using while we're lifting, working out, and things like that. If we have constant tension and guarding in the abdominal wall, it will create excess pressure in the pelvic floor. So go ahead and try these 3 breathing and bracing exercises out.